Welcome to Lights Camera Barstool, episode 35 of season 2. Jeff Flo alongside Ken Jack, Chris Castellani, and Clem.
First timer here, fellas. Happy to be
Clem
aboard.
has never been on this show. Clem, for those who aren't Barstool fans, Clem, just as big of a nerd as we are. You can find him on many things, Mets related, My Mom's Basement with our good buddy Robbie Fox, among many other things. But if you're a Barstool fan, you know who fucking Clem is. So this shouldn't be a surprise. We're talking Marvel today. We're talking Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness today. And I'll say it off the top. Our friend wrote the movie. So, all bias, understandable.
Fuck.
Our friend wrote the movie. So, just keep that in mind, everybody.
We would be excused by the judge if we were on the jury for this movie.
I like this movie quite a bit anyway, and I'm probably going to be set on bias to begin with. But just a heads up, I like the movie. And Michael Waldron coming on this podcast, I think for an hour in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing me, myself. Don't worry, Chris. It's just going to be me, Ken Jack, and Michael Waldron, so you don't have to worry. You won't beat the shit out of you.
But
we're doing we're doing alternate universe sports. I had it down. I had it down for so long. It's like we're going to be doing a draft of basically alternate universe sports happenings. Like, what if the Colts got Ryan Leaf and the Chargers? Yeah, shit like that, you know?
I wish.
Like, that stuff like that. The Colts would have never won a Super Bowl with the Chargers would never won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning.
Oh, not a chance.
That's how you should
never would happen.
So people say to me all the time, like, what if the Browns got Patrick Mahomes? Like, well, then they would stink with Patrick Mahomes.
Actually, think about the partying. The partying
Like,
that would have went down in the Irsay Leaf room would have been absurd.
Oh,
that would have been incredible.
Yeah, I like that's what people. Whenever people put like a Browns quarterback hypothetical, it's like, well, then that guy would just stink with the Browns.
Yeah.
Like that's the hypothetical.
The sick shit, Jeff. I'm the same way with the Knicks. They're like, oh, the Steph Curry picture where he gets drafted one spot above the Knicks. And I'm like, if he goes to the Knicks, they never fix his ankle issues. He probably has some other like tragedy that happens in his life, and he's never become Steph Curry. It's better for basketball that Steph Curry did not go to the Knicks, and I'm happy for him that happened. So
I watched one What If where it was like, what if the Cavs actually, what LeBron was going drafted, like it was like Kawhi, then like Giannis. I'm like, well, they wouldn't have had that pick the next year. That's not how hypotheticals work. It doesn't work like that.
That is a great idea. I'm excited for that. That's going to be good. And
is there any bigger like dick punch for a fan than a redraft? Like an NFL?
I hate those so much.
Oh, it's like, come on, like.
Yeah, like we know we suck. There's no need to go back and look at every single what if in that scenario.
I mean, there's somebody on this podcast right now who, in between LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, drafted Darko Milicic. So like, there's nothing more. Yeah,
that was coming off a title though.
Yeah, it's true.
No, it was right before the title. The next
year
year was the title. That's what's weird. Darko Milicic has a NBA championship ring. That one before LeBron did.
The great thing about Larry Brown is that Larry Brown's refusal to play rookies. If you would have won even with Carmelo, there would have been no difference. He just would have not played Carmelo.
The difference. That's the thing. They did win a ring. The difference is they probably have 2 or 3. If you. Yeah, because then you move Tayshaun probably to the bench, and Tayshaun was great. Like, so yeah, I know. Short sports, what if? Yeah.
Anyway, here's the story. Multiverse of Madness. A lot of trailers to get to. Lot to get to. Some massive trailers. One of the biggest trailers of all time. I'm not saying in terms of views, but a trailer 14 years in the making. We're going to talk about today. And then we're going to do a draft. We're going to sort of a draft. We're going to draft alternate universe or multiverse versions of existing MCU characters. And we'll get into that because there were some rumored cameos and things that didn't happen in Multiverse of Madness, which that's not that to say that they were just cut or something. But, you know, I mean, the rumors for Marvel movies run fucking rampant. So we'll talk about that. There is one in particular. I think our good buddy Bob Fox is going to talk to Michael Waldron before we do. I think he'll get to ask it first. But there's one we will talk about that I do wish was in the movie because I there's nothing more I want to see in Marvel than that one cameo. This episode though of Lights Camera Barstool is brought to you by Truebill. Subscriptions add up. How many subscriptions do you have, Clem? Streaming services.
Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I don't even know how much I have, Jeff. That's the answer to you. 4.
So Truebill's a big help. Smartest way to manage your finances. Truebill's a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply for you might be still paying for Quibi.
I was paying for Netflix on a credit card I forgot I even had, and that was a real problem for me.
Oof.
That's tough.
3 years. 3 years.
Hulu
Casual
account.
3 years.
On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Cancel subscriptions directly through the app. That's possible. A variety of tools to help customers improve their finances. Possible as well. Creating a monthly budget and expenses. Can also do that. Track and evaluate savings and goals. Can also do that. It's fantastic. Get push notifications when you're getting close to going over your budget or when your cash is running low. Truebill helped me clean things up. I'll read it off now if I can even figure it out. Can I name all of them? I pay for Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube TV, YouTube Premium, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus. What are some of the other ones? Peacock.
Did you say HBO Max?
Which one?
HBO Max? Did you say HBO
The bundle. The Disney bundle.
I pay for Criterion. No, I still pay for ESPN Plus separately. I don't do the bundle for some reason. I don't know. I pay for NHL package on my cable box and NBA, and I pay for it on digital as well. Pointless. Absolutely. I bought the NBA package in February, and I went to LA for a week and then never came home until the end of the NBA season. And I forgot to cancel it, so that was tough. That wasn't great. I can't say that was my favorite thing in the world. But yeah, I have a lot of them, and Truebill helped me clean up a couple. I had multiple Hulu logins I was paying for. That'll save you money right there.
Jeff DeLo just lights money on fire, I learned tonight. Oh my God.
Yeah, Truebill.com/lights. Take control of your finances. Start saving at Truebill.com/lights. That's Truebill.com/lights. A lot to get to, but quick. So I've been on in a while. I was traveling. Obviously, I had some shit go on earlier in the year, and then I was traveling for my other show that does it in Chicago, which was great. And then I was on a reality show, Barstool versus America, that drops in June. Definitely check it out. Fucking amazing season. Last season was cool. This season is unreal. So I've been traveling. I think I'm finally grounded now for a long time. The only day that I may miss would be maybe Sunday because our big trivia tournament's next week. But I'm back for now, but I did a lot of airport traveling, and I am about to do something that may shock the two New York guys on here. I'm going to defend LaGuardia and JFK Airport. They are the only airports, at least, no, there's some that may do it as well, but they're two of the only airports that don't fuck up the rideshare app pickup. They just let you just get picked up where you go to your terminal.
That is a new improvement for LaGuardia. I need to make that very clear. That did not used to always be that way.
So I don't fly in LaGuardia much, but I do JFK, Newark, and LaGuardia. So maybe that's some ignorance on my part. But you get out, you get your bags, you go to the ride shares right there. Fucking LA, you got to go on a bus to another parking lot. It's called like LA Exit or something. Nashville wasn't bad. Chicago, only 2 of like the 5 terminals you can get picked up on ride shares. The crazy one is Boston. Boston Airport. You got to walk a fucking mile to get picked up. And they don't even drop you off at drop-off. You get dropped off at a parking garage. You got to walk. So you know what? I know LaGuardia is a third world country, according to many people. I know JFK is the longest terminal of all time. No matter what, you're always the last gate.
Yes.
No one's ever flown out of any of the first couple gates. Newark, I'll defend. Though Newark right now, one of the whole terminals is just bulldozed. Like, it's just gone. But those airports, you know, we're gonna give a random round of applause for those airports. Chris still has the best airport in the country.
Yeah, Detroit is like one.
Wow, really?
Detroit Wayne it's so easy.
Did you? What do you think of Tampa Airport? Because we go there like.
No, Tampa Airport.
I always thought Tampa was better than Detroit. Yeah,
Tampa Winter is now the airport. I actually flew next to John Gruden off my flight, which is like the most cliche Tampa thing I could ever say. But he was just on the flight. John Gruden was reading stacks of printed mock drafts and like the New York Post. It was like the most football guy thing I've ever seen. The Tampa airport is so easy. I posted about it. And people are like, that's just a normal day here. Like there's never security lines. Like I'm like, how is that even possible? Like,
is Atlanta's any good? That's the only huge airport I think I've never been to is Atlanta.
I don't think Atlanta's bad. Atlanta has that underground like train system.
Yeah.
And they have like a Popeyes and a Bojangles.
I think I'd have more than that. It's like one of the biggest airports in the world.
Yeah, they do. They have like a Food Network test kitchen. Like it's like a weird restaurant. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Detroit though, it's all one moving walkway and an underground tunnel.
I guess if there's one detriment, it's not really a detriment. Is that Tampa, to get from one place to another, it's not a people mover, but they have like basically that tram that you have to.
It's a monorail. Well, Florida airport,
tram. What am
Florida airports have to have monorails. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, I have a question. Are you doing rideshare? Like, so when I went to LA, I was like, fuck this rideshare thing. Like, I'd have to go another mile. I just go in just a straight up cab and just cab it. Is that a little?
That's probably the move.
Yeah. Are you above the cabs? Is Jeff D. Lowe above the cabs?
I'm not above
you can be above the cabs. I'm not going to say cabs are perfect.
LA, if you do Uber Black, you can actually get picked up from the pickup place. And actually in LA, Ubers are significantly cheaper than New York Ubers. It's insane. It's just truly insane. Also, no, so I shouldn't be above the cab. You are right.
You are rock. I converted almost full time to a cab guy within the last year, and honestly, it's great. It's so much easier than I thought it would be. Like I just hated the idea of having to hail it down.
If you visit New York, anyone listening, cabs are always faster.
Yep.
They fucking fly. Just no regard for anything. Uber sometimes feel like they're milking your time. Cabs want nothing to do with you. They want you in and out as fucking quick as possible.
It's treacherous as fuck because you always feel like you're just about to get into an accident, but they fucking get you places.
One of the first times I ever took a cab, I was visiting my college, and my mom was with me. We were in the cab, and our cab driver cut off like a messenger on a messenger bike, and the messenger bike came and asked him to roll down the window and just beat the fuck out of him right there, like in front of me and my mom, and like we just had no idea what to do, so we just like got out where it's like we're getting out of here, we're done. Probably should have paid him money or something, but he really got the shit beat out of him.
That's part of the New York experience. Like, especially if you're coming from out of town for the first time, you need to just take a cab and like know your life is in that person's hands that does not give a fuck about you in the back seat, in the front seat. It's crazy.
Exactly. It's a different world in there sometimes.
Best part about Detroit Wayne Airport, by the way, Up in the Air was shot there. That iconic shot.
Great movie.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that iconic shot. I called that movie delightful recently. It's not.
It's a really good movie. I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah,
great movie. All right, lot to get to. Let's start out with Moon Knight. Final thoughts on Moon Knight, everybody?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other. It's like such like I don't know how to explain. It's like a void of a show where it's like I have no hugely positive things to say about it. I also have no hugely negative. It's probably my second to last ranked of the live action Marvel shows. It didn't really jump off the page too much. Like I'm trying to think of like what's a better like almost a mock draft or combine type analysis I can give it. Like it didn't look good in shorts. I can tell you that much. And just not it was not I think the show that I wanted it to be, which is kind of a bummer.
What was that? What was the Bengals offensive lineman that had the titties flopping when he was running?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He was like 2000. Shay would know this. He was like a top 10 pick. I don't know if he ended up being good or not, because I know there was some concerns probably his titties flopping, but it's like, why are you running with your shirt off if you're an offensive lineman, dude? We all have titties. What are you doing, man? So I think that's a fair comparison to looks bad in shorts, right?
Yeah, for sure. Who was that? Shoot. It's really killing
me. I can't think of any other Bengals top 10 picks than Andre Smith.
I think it was Andre Smith. I'm going to put Bengals offensive line titties.
Levi Brown was the Cardinals. That was the other name that popped into my head, so it's not him.
I found the picture of him. I just don't. They don't have his name on here.
It's Andre Smith. It's Andre.
Yeah.
No.
Did Andre Smith end up being all right, or is he still in the league?
No, I don't think he is. Based on this past year, I would imagine he's definitely. I know he's not with the Bengals.
Well, we got in the chat. We got Gooch saying he was good.
He was up. He played with them up. He was in the league as of 2021 with the Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah.
If the Ravens give you like one last shot for 3 years and he played from 19 to 21 there, I feel like you have to be decent, right? Yeah. They don't fucking take bums.
The Bengals took a chance on this guy 3 separate times. They used like 3 different occasions. That's nuts. They love this dude.
You can't do that. You can't legally play with a team 3 separate times. I feel like that should be banned. Like you've had enough try.
That was another crazy moment in NFL history is when CJ Spiller got like added and dropped by the Chiefs like 80 times in the span of a week. Like just and no one can figure out why.
Moon Knight. I was like, why are we talking about the draft?
Didn't look good.
Moon Knight. I don't really like. I've kind of been down on some Marvel stuff lately.
Yeah,
that's why I like Multiverse of Madness. By the way, that's a little tease. I kind of like Multiverse of Madness so much because it was just really different. But the TV stuff has been a little, or the streams has been a little for me. Moon Knight started great, and I actually tweeted about it, and then I kept watching it, and I said, I probably shouldn't have fired that tweet off quite yet. I liked a chunk of it, but I can't say I really loved it. Like, for me, the Marvel series stuff, the one that still is top tier is Loki. And then WandaVision just below. WandaVision didn't really stick its landing, and that kind of sours with me a little bit. So yeah, Moon Knight was fine. I think fine at best. There's some great stuff in it, but otherwise, whatever.
I'm with you completely, and that's how I felt about it watching it over the weekend, which is like recapping all of it, which is I liked the way it started because it was so fucking weird. And I think that these series so far, if you're going to do Disney Plus series, I think that's why Loki worked. I think that's why WandaVision worked, is they were bizarre. But you got to the last like 2 or 3 episodes, and you're like, okay, well, what are they really saying here? It felt very hollow by the end of it. It's not a bad series. Like, it's a well-produced, well-acted show. But I think that if Marvel wants to transition into this phase in which they're putting shows out on Disney Plus, you got to give us something that's, you can sink your teeth into a little bit more. So it's not something that like I would tell people to stay away from, but it's not a strong recommendation either.
Yep, I'm with all you guys on this. And I did see some people who were tweeting at me saying that they had it like top 2, top 3, and I was surprised. But hey, if you liked it, God bless. Moon Knight needed more Moon Knight. That was kind of my big takeaway from it.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And I do think if they did a second season based on the way we saw it end, I could see it being real fun. I don't want to like spoil anything that people haven't seen yet, but I do think it could be a much more fun show. They definitely... I think the fear with a lot of us with these Disney Plus shows is the origin story can kind of weigh it down. And I think they spent so much time hitting so many parts. It's a chaotic show. It sounds like the comic books is as chaotic. They had a lot of stuff to cover. And yeah, I do feel like if they maybe had a couple more episodes and they spaced things out better, maybe it would have come out as a better show. But yeah, I'm 100% with you guys on that. It sounds like
it never made sense to me why that character got his own series. He's not like super. It just felt bizarre. Like WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier. It felt a little bit bizarre that this character who, was like maybe like C+ in terms of overall popularity, like got a show. So it kind of worked out the way I figured it might.
Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, Jeff. Like the WandaVision and Loki are the top 2, but there is enough flaws in WandaVision in the beginning and the end for me that Loki is and written by our friend. So shout out to our friend.
Yeah,
good job.
You don't like because he really stinks. We don't like because he wrote it. No, I'm not. That was a joke. Winning Time thoughts. Anyone finish Winning Time yet? I have not. I am an episode behind. But Winning Time for me is up and down. I like Winning Time as an entertaining Sunday night HBO thing, but like it's not. Like if like it's not fucking Succession, like it's,
right. Yeah. I think that HBO is doing a lot of shows that are a lot better than Winning Time. Like Barry's on right now. Like they have the We Own This City, the one from the Wire guys, which is really cool so far. Minx was awesome, that just came out. And like when you watch those shows and then in comparison to this, it's just like it's not really the same level. Like it's really cool. I like the way how they do a lot of that 70s action shot. I think that John C. Reilly is like the perfect Jerry Buss. It's insane how good he is as that character. Everyone else is like so and like they took weird spots to take creative liberties and then other spots to be extremely strict to the storyline, which I think is like puts me off a little bit. But other than that, like I would agree with what Jeff said, and that it's definitely been a little bit of an up and down experience where like one episode I'll be like, wow, this is a really, really good show. And then the next episode I'll be like, they're really losing me here. So I don't know. It's in between for me right now.
It's very, very Adam McKay. And that's coming from somebody who has been crucified for his opinions on Don't Look Up in the past, which I loved. And I know a lot of people didn't. I guess, and I'm rarely like this because I can separate art from fiction. Like I've heard a lot of people say like The Social Network is, like almost entirely made up. And yeah, it's one of my 15 like favorite movies ever. But I kind of got soured to the show near the end with the amount of people that were coming out and being like, this is complete bullshit. Like Jerry West and Magic Johnson being like, this is not an accurate representation of this story. And I can accept it as fiction. And I think it's really well produced and really well acted. And John C. Reilly, like, I know there was controversy about it with, Will Ferrell potentially being cast, but anybody else playing that role, the show would not have been as good. It's just another like down the middle so thing for me. But I do appreciate the fact that like Adam McKay is like fucking Javi Baez, man. He just swings for the fences every fucking like I give him credit for the fact that he goes all out, and even if something doesn't work, it's really, really well produced and it is well done. I'm just kind of so about it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if this series was worth Will Ferrell and Adam McKay no longer being friends for, but I have to give Adam McKay credit.
That's he made the right choice. Was the show good enough for them to not be friends anymore? I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Just think about all the other good shit that we're not going to get now because of that. However, Adam McKay was 1,000% right. I can't imagine anyone else but John C. Reilly, and like watching John C. Reilly crush that role, and even more so, I just want to just live in California in the 80s. It seems like the fucking best. I guess being a Laker in the 80s is the best thing ever. But oh man, that's all I can think about when I'm watching that show.
And you know what? I bet Adam McKay and Will Ferrell find their way back. Yeah, I don't think
so too.
This is not going to be a long-term feud. That they're going to do a project together at some point, because they have to. Like, I mean, made fucking Anchorman. Like that, they're gonna get back together at some point, creatively.
I think when the show is good, it's pretty fucking awesome. But when it's like off and a little too artistic-y, it's like really off-putting to watch. I think the Jonah Hill directed episode is probably the best example. That one was like, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you were like, ugh. Like some of the cut-ins were weird, and you're like, this is like almost like a headache.
The editing of those episodes was really bizarre, and I know that's a McKay staple, but like I don't like that talk over thing is in that instance.
No.
Yeah. I want to read the book. Was strange. Sorry, say it again, Clem.
I want to read the book now because I like the guy who wrote it. He's from my hometown, but he wrote the Mets, The Bad Guys Won, which is an awesome book about the '86 Mets. He wrote, I guess, one about the Cowboys, just like the most crazy teams that like of our time, basically. And I kind of want to actually read, off the pages instead of seeing the HBO version of it, because I do think there's probably some awesome shit in there that now is getting kind of lost in, like you said, kind of the fact or fiction kind of section of the show.
Let's talk teaser trailers. First new full teaser for new teaser for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series. Ewan McGregor back as Obi, Hayden Christensen back as Darth Vader, Rupert Friend, Joel Edgerton, Kumail Nanjiani, bunch of other people. I'm still about as excited as humanly possible for this. Like, I'm not really sure like what else to say at this point. It's maximum hype levels, and that's coming from someone who just like truly doesn't care about the sequels anymore. I mean, I still watch them for fun, but like I don't like those movies. My opinion is never going to change on those movies. But just to have the music back and this universe, because Clone Wars was so fucking badass. O'Shea Jackson Jr. also in this, by the way. We interviewed him. It is going to be, even if it stinks, it's going to have such high nostalgia levels with the fucking music.
Oh, yeah.
The music from Revenge of the Sith, the Duel of the Fates, all that stuff. It's coming out May 27th. I'm just fired up to see what Ewan does again with Obi-Wan, because he is great in that role. He mastered that role, and he deserves something like this. And so does Hayden Christensen as well. So cool second teaser. This is more like Darth Vader-y, more Inquisitor-esque. I hope we see some cool. I like to see like Zuckuss and some other weird like bounty hunters. I feel like that world is open now to do that. Kind of funny we're fucking back on Tatooine again, by the way, though it does seem as though we'll be off Tatooine a little bit. But Ken, Jack, what do you think about the second trailer for Obi-Wan?
I'd say the opinion is relatively the same as from the first one. The Duel of the Fates music definitely gets, I think the juice is flowing a lot. I think that thing I'm looking forward to probably the most from this season isn't just seeing like Inquisitors in live action, but is more so seeing them get off Tatooine and you see like that sort of like cyberpunk Tokyo world, whatever that one is, looks sick. A lot of those other locations look really cool, and like just to see that sort of vibe from Obi-Wan, because like you get a little bit of a taste of that in Clone Wars. Like he does these undercover missions. By the way, if you ever want to see something very jarring, there's a scene in Clone Wars, Clem, I know that you haven't watched it before. There's a scene in Clone Wars where Obi-Wan shaves his head and shaves his beard off, and you get like a smooth Obi-Wan, and it is horrifying to look at. So like there's a lot of that stuff in Clone Wars. So if you get to see a little bit more like seedy underworld Obi-Wan like interactions, I think it'd be great. I also think it would be absolutely hysterical if somehow Dexter Jettster's in this. And the more we get, the closer we get, the more certain I am, or at least going to get a reference to him, and if not, actually get to see him outright.
You know, I was thinking this while watching the trailers. How lucky are we that Joel Edgerton ended up becoming like a star?
Yeah,
like, that you could put him. But like at the time, I'm sure I don't know like his history, but I'm guessing he was probably like a stage actor, and now like, you know, he's become. You know, I really like him. I think he's very underappreciated. I've lamented in the past like what Star Wars has become. I love this. I think this looks awesome, and I think it looks epic and grand. Which, in my opinion, like I don't like when Star Wars is like this, you know, I don't like fucking indie film Star Wars. Like I want Star Wars to be big and grandiose and epic. And you know what? I give the series credit, or I'm sorry, this trailer credit, because there was some 8 Mile shit in this trailer. Because anytime there's a line that makes me go, oh, I give it credit. And the moment in this trailer where he's like, you know, when he grows up, he must be trained. He goes, oh, you mean like you trained his father? And I felt like there's the fucking end of 8 Mile where it's like, you know, so
he's gonna be a fucking dick in this movie, by the way. Uncle Owen, he asked. That's his character. He's got to be a douchebag.
He's a dick in A New Hope. So yeah, I mean, he's got to be. So I'm actually super amped for this. Even beyond the nostalgia purposes, like it looks really well produced and epic, which in my opinion is what Star Wars should be. So I'm so rooting for this, man.
I actually am kind of looking forward now to Uncle Owen just being a prick and being like, Baru, leave this fucking guy. He's no good. He's a fucking, you're better than this. You were dating the valedictorian in your Star Wars high school. I'm putting all my eggs in the Obi-Wan basket because when we were watching the Book of Boba Fett, I said, all right, like, I'm excited for this, but if this doesn't hit, and for me, it didn't really hit as much as I thought other than the Mandalorian episodes, I'm like, all right, we can go now to Obi-Wan. If they fuck up Obi-Wan, this is a bad year for Star Wars, for me at least. Actually, the biggest win of the year for Star Wars is Moon Knight, because I now consider Oscar Isaac Moon Knight over Poe. So, and again, as someone who doesn't like the sequel trilogy, like that's my guy. Every time I saw him, I saw Poe. Now I could see him as fucking whoever the character he is at the time in Moon Knight. But this one, in terms of the trailer, there's a lot of shit that goes over my head. This is when I have to talk to, you know, Jeff, Ken, Jack, and Robbie and be like, what are all those people? Again, kind of like with the Tatooine beats, you throw Vader breathing. You just gotta do a
hardcore binge of. You just gotta rip through all Clone Wars.
You gotta watch it, Clem. You love
it. I do too. No, I do too. Yeah,
especially now that this world and
you're going to have a significantly worse experience than we will watching Obi-Wan without having seen Clone Wars or Rebels. Actually, Rebels almost more so because of how much Inquisitors.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's true. And this probably is going to be the only show that's going to be from this time frame. So then I'm fucking myself over with other shows as well. So God damn it, kid. Sorry, Daddy has to go watch a whole bunch of old cartoons.
A whole bunch of old cartoons that are, by the way, I think maybe them more than anything else. We always talk about, and you mentioned even before, Jeff, how like the prequels have had like this almost like nut washing done over like the last like 10 years. A lot of that I think just has to do with Clone Wars being so good, because Clone Wars is basically Filoni cleaning up Lucas's mess.
Yeah. What is the equivalent of this, by the way? Like, what is the comparable thing of? But first of all, I need to know, breaking news, new Westworld trailer out. We will not be talking about it.
No, thanks. Not doing that again.
Sorry. We spent hours for weeks recapping that show. I'm passing.
Yep.
I'm passing on Westworld season 4. We're on to Succession.
Altogether, are you passing watching as well or reviewing and recapping?
I will probably watch it. I watch everything, Clem. I watch everything on TV. And I don't watch every streaming show because people will yell and say, you don't have to watch The Boys. I understand that. I'll probably watch it. HBO is such an easy thing to throw on when you're doing work. It's like, okay.
You have every streaming site under the sun, Jeff. We just learned that.
I'm passing for now. Just for now. Okay. I don't want to talk about it. But is there a comparable thing to like people watching a show based on the prequels and then pretending the prequels is better? Like, is that like being a fan of the worst baseball team in the world and then you watch the minor league team win like 10 consecutive titles and you're like, well, now I kind of like that because I saw those. Like, I don't know. That's a bad example.
I have experience with this, and no, it doesn't make
not related.
So yeah,
it's not. There's like it doesn't. Why does Clone Wars make the prequels better? It doesn't. You just might hate the characters less. It doesn't.
That's the thing better. Is I think it cleans it up for people. And like you're right in that like it does not make the prequels better movies, but like they. Basically, it's very hard to explain. It's like the Band-Aid, more or less. Like, hey, at least it's not bleeding anymore. Yeah. Maybe it was never cut in the first place. And I don't know. People have too short of a memory for these things.
I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, when you look at A New Hope is like a perfect movie, but did Rogue One not make A New Hope like a little bit better? When it's like, that entire like thing that people have made fun of you can just drive down a trench and shoot two.
Not for me, because to me. That's just an example. Like I like Rogue One. That's an example of like over-explaining. I never needed to know how.
That's fair. I like Rogue One probably more than you do, but I do get what you're saying. Yeah.
Ken Jack, name a couple characters in Rogue One.
You can't. Jyn Erso, and that's it. That's the only one you got. Maybe Cassian Andor if you're really struggling.
Cassian and Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen. Yeah. Playing like his name is something.
Chirrut.
Yeah. That's the Benedict. It's Benedict Wong, right? Is the other guy with like the Gatling gun?
Oh, is it?
And Riz Ahmed.
Riz Ahmed plays Bodhi Rook.
Gooch just put in the chat Alan Tudyk, who is probably the best character in that movie. Who
K2SO.
K2SO, yeah.
I think I have a comparison, Jeff. So if you have a fantasy guy, like you had Blake Bortles a few years ago, and he had all those garbage time touchdowns for you, you're like, Blake Bortles is fucking awesome. And then all the Jaguars fans like, no, Blake Bortles fucking sucks. He just like dominated garbage time. I guess that'd be the closest thing. I always thought the memes kind of made the prequels better too, because it makes fun at it. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, I get it.
I hate them still. I hate them with all my heart. But I guess
I'm just such a sequels defender up until Revenge of the Sith that like until Rise of Skywalker that I just like I don't do it. Like I can't I don't know how you and you know what they're gonna release another 3 movies down the line one day and people will like the sequels more and they'll hate those new ones.
Right, no, dude, that's the thing. We're the curmudgeons because 10 years from now there's gonna be a group of kids who grew up 2015 to 2019 who are gonna talk about how great the sequels were.
Yeah,
like that's just
I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna stick with my take and say I'm not soft enough to be swayed. I don't like those movies. I was a dumb baby idiot when I liked Phantom Menace, and they stink. That's where I'm gonna stay. But I'm gonna continue to watch them every year.
Movies.
That's the problem. They're the worst. They're the best 5 out of 10 movies that have ever existed. Yeah.
Ben Mendelsohn's character in Rogue One.
Krennic, right?
Orson Krennic.
That's correct.
Cool ass cape.
Mads Mikkelsen's character name?
It was Galen
Lashif.
Galen Erso.
Mr. Bond. I see. Like more we talk about it, I know the characters' names, but like that's that movie. Bad characters, but really, really damn good cinematography.
Great space battle.
Greg Fraser, man, just
Michael Giacchino
crushed that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Music, yeah. Also, I will note prequels though. The Across the Stars theme song, the love theme from Attack of the Clones, is incredible. It's an incredible piece of music.
The technical elements of those movies, I know everyone complains about the overuse of CGI, but like the technical elements of those movies,
there was still a lot of model building in Phantom Menace. A lot of model building.
That opens that scene in the first or in the opening of Revenge of the Sith where they have the war drum start and like they just dip you straight into a massive space battle, like all encompassing, sweeping the entire fucking landscape. It's so cool, and like it doesn't let up from there until the really horrible line of, "Oh, I think we lost something," or whatever what it was, and then they land
half a ship. Yes.
Yeah, we're still flying half a ship. Yeah.
That's Obi-Wan. Very, very, very excited for that though. Yeah. Like I'm so fucking happy that Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor get to come back.
Yeah,
I don't think it was like I will say the older we got and the more I disliked those movies, the more I realized it was like, oh, I don't think it was their acting. I mean, Hayden Christensen wasn't a great actor in the movie. It's like they were reading off a pretty horrible fucking script.
Fucking De Niro couldn't have delivered some of those lines.
Clunky script.
Yeah.
First full-length trailer for Game of Thrones spinoff House of the Dragon.
I literally don't want to even put a thought into this series until it comes out and people tell me it's good. Like, I don't want to risk it because I'm so afraid of being hurt again.
Clem, you were the only person who loved the finale to Game of Thrones, correct?
No, I only like the One True King. The One True King is on the throne.
Ruined your reputation on this show.
Let them just know that the only part of the series that I liked is that my guy Bran was on the throne, and I called that like season 5. I was like, Bran's gonna win the Game of Thrones. Never in a million years did I think it would actually happen, but I bought low on him, and goddamn if it didn't cash, Jeff. So
about real low, like halfway usually. Like it's half what he should be usually.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you bastard kid. Excuse me. The worst part about it was we had the Game of Thrones show, Game of Stools, and we were criticizing from episode 1, the final season, and everyone told us we were wrong, we were stupid, our TVs need to be brighter, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that was the most ridiculous thing of all time.
Yep. And then by the end, though, everyone was throwing tomatoes with us together, so that was kind of we were in unity. This trailer, though, I mean, I was like, okay, I could see that it's a Game of Thrones show. I feel like just seeing the names, the Sea Snake, the Queen Who Never Was, like that kind of got the juices flowing in. That's the kind of like fun little Game of Thrones shit that got it going. So if they're going off of George R. R. Martin stuff, I feel like they're going to be fine. It's when they stray away from that is when there's problems. But Ken Jack, I think I'm going to try to cover this from day one. And this could be a Westworld for me. This could be where I'm like, what am I doing?
I think your worldview has been tainted by the Mets being good this year. You're like way too eager. You were hurt really badly, but now you're like, see, things can be turned around. Everything can be good again.
Oh, by September, the Mets will have blown like a 7 game league in the standings, and I'll be covering the worst show on TV every single week for Barstool. God damn it!
With Frank in your ear, no less.
Next trailer. How about we talk Avatar?
Mm-hmm.
Avatar, is it The Way of Water?
Yeah. Not a good title for the record. I don't. Yeah.
The Way of Water. All right. I'll be honest. Look, so I've changed my tune on this. I'm actually very excited about this. I think this is what I am calling the Avatar effect. I lost all interest in this almost right away. Yeah. And the more it went on, the more I hated this movie. The idea of it, James Cameron. But then the longer it went, we surpassed that. And now I'm excited. Like it's been so long that I'm no longer annoyed with it. And I'm just excited because it's been 13 years.
Yeah.
13 years since the first movie came out. And this was supposed to come out already 10 times. I mean, I'll do what we always do. We always talk about this. Initially, the film was scheduled for release in December 2014, then 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, then it was 2020, then 2021, and now 2022.
Jesus.
So I might have missed one in there, missed a couple days. The trailer was fine. Oddly enough, this looks like they weren't even ready for the trailer. It was a weird trip. It looks great. It looks really good. But I mean, that shouldn't be a shock. Like, movies look good nowadays. This isn't like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, if there is an extra thing that really that really sets it apart. Because it was the technology. It was also the international box office, which accounted for a large majority of the money. Mm-hmm. Is there a thing that sets this movie apart from everything else? Because the story is not people are going to give a fuck about. They're going to care about the look of the movie. And it does. Again, it looks really fucking good. And I actually went home today and I watched the trailer again now that it was online. And I watched it compared to what Avatar looked like in 2009. And it did definitely an improvement, obviously. But I don't know, Ken, we talked about in the office today, remember at one point there was the possibility that there was going to be glasses-free 3D?
Yeah.
That was one of the rumors. It was Avatar 2, you're going to be able to see 3D without glasses. And then they're like, well, that's not going to happen. That technology's in there yet.
No.
What technology even is that?
Looking your eyes? What do you mean? We all see 3D anyway, I guess. That was just
that's a good point, Ken, Jack. That's a good point.
That's just looking. That's called eyesight. But they I actually watched this trailer. So we went to the screening of Multiverse of Madness, me and the Goochman. But before that, an hour earlier, they had us come in to do a test screening of the trailer. So we went to like the 3D theater. They gave out the glasses. They did the whole thing. We watched it for 2 minutes, and then had to sit around the theater for an hour because I didn't have enough time to go home and get all the way back. It would have been pointless. So I had to sit around Lincoln Center for an extra an hour, which was made me more jaded against it. But I think that the trailer, like, it did nothing about it really blew me away. Even watching it in 3D, the most revolutionary technology to movies that everyone loves, like, it just looked okay. And the big thing about it, obviously, like Cameron was like, we need to figure out how to make water work. Like, I don't know how to shoot water. We're gonna take all this time, figure out how to make water look. Water looked fine. Like, nothing about it blew me away more than like an Aquaman water. Like, it looked exactly the same to me. I don't think anything about, like, I want this movie to be good, but there's nothing about it where I'm like, I'm fucking dying to see more Jake Sully and his legion of unnamed characters and his little Tarzan kid or whatever that little guy was. Like, there's nothing super like gripping to me about this. And I do think that his big play is going to be catering more towards the international audience. Something tells me that the humans or the good guys in this movie are going to have some sort of like Chinese assistants in this movie. Like a lot of movies nowadays do. You ever read about that? How like, was it in like The Martian and like all the movies that get bankrolled by like a Chinese studio, they have the Chinese come in the last magnet to be like the saviors or the good guys or whatever. Like, I feel a feeling that's going to happen here because that
Transformers 4, I feel like, was one that did that. Where in the last act, all of a sudden they're like, we need to go to China. Yeah,
China swoops in and saves the day. So I have a feeling that maybe something like that might happen here because China was like one of their biggest plays in the overseas market. But yeah, I don't know. This movie just is not something I'm super excited for because I have the feeling I'm going to be let down more than anything else.
This is bizarre. I'm actually a little bit more optimistic than you guys are here with this because I feel like people just forget that James Cameron, like, all outside of fucking Piranha, The Spawning, has never made a bad movie. Like, all he does is put out he's one of the greatest film directors of all time. And but my take on this is that I agree with you guys where I think it's a good trailer. Like, I'm with you, Jeff. The movie does look amazing. And I think as a nation, we need to move on from the idea that Avatar is a bad movie. Avatar is a fucking amazing movie. Like, I understand it's got its flaws, even severe flaws, but like, the movie was a huge fucking deal when it came out.
Yeah, I do not agree with the idea that it's a bad movie. I mean, it's a 79, I believe, for me. I mean, I think it's well above average. Yeah, but I think that it's bad is I draw the line at that. But that's
I'm with you. But like, people forget, like, it was the favorite to win Best Picture until like the last week. And it should not have beaten Hurt Locker, for the record. But I'm just saying, like, it was a huge deal. Here's the one problem, though, and I do agree with people on this, is if we're talking 13 years in between release of the last movie and trailer for this movie, you got to give us something a little bit more than a 1 minute, like,
montage,
little teaser montage with, showing some underwater clips. Like, I know we just brought up the prequels, and obviously things have changed, and, those movies maybe didn't live up to the hype, but when the Phantom Menace trailer dropped, in 99, people were like, holy shit, this is one of the most amazing. This is worth the 16-year wait. Watching this, I'm like, if this came out in 2013, I'd be like, okay, cool. It's fine. But the fact that we've waited 13 years, it's just like, I would expect a little bit more, especially knowing that they have like 3 more of these that are supposed to be coming out. It's like, I'm not watching this being like, I can't wait to see this whole saga, close out. It's good. It's good. I think it's going to be a good movie, but not amazing.
You know what even brought up even more hype for the prequels than any of those trailers? That freaking poster of little Anakin with the shadow.
I have it in my room.
Yes. Yeah. That alone, that one still image did more for me than anything in that Avatar trailer could possibly do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Not really. Again, James Cameron, he pissed off the wrong community if he's looking to sell tickets here. The nerd community is pissed. At least, those of us on the Endgame thing, I don't like all the comic book hate that came out of him. He's like Chris said, though, he's a fucking genius at what he does. But this is like, I'm going to set the over-under at 72.5 for you guys on this one. I think I'm going to take the under.
You see, and this is bizarre. I bet I'd take the over with it.
Okay.
James Cameron's made like some of Terminator 2 is close to 100 out of 100 movie for me. So like I'm gonna, and I know it was a long time ago, but like I actually rely on him a little bit more. Now there is probably a bit more nostalgia for me with Avatar than with you guys. Like I was like in middle school and that thing came out. It was a big deal. So I do get it. But yeah, I'm really rooting for this. I hope it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally coming out, and that's the biggest thing.
Right.
It's a movie that's going to actually be in theaters in December. I'm surprised Disney didn't slap more logos on this, by the way. A little surprised by that.
It's kind of bullshit.
Well, I wonder if they will.
It's kind of bullshit. We got this, but we still haven't gotten Detox from Dr. Dre. Like, if I had to choose one, I would have chose Detox 100 times.
That would have been your pick? Okay.
Half-Life 3 or whatever that. What's that game that got delayed forever? Is it Half-Life 3? I think so.
Duke Nukem Forever. They're releasing the old Duke Nukem Forever, the old code from 2001 or something like that. I saw that today. So,
let's move on to Don't Worry, Darling, the new movie from Florence Pugh, from Olivia Wilde, starring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, Gemma Chan, Chris Pine, ton of other people. Coming out in September, a 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community begins to worry that his glamorous company may be hiding disturbing secrets. A plus 100 out of 100 trailer. Great trailer.
Agreed.
Like, great fucking trailer. A trailer where I actually knew nothing about the movie except for how big the cast was, and that this is the movie that Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles became like an item from. But one of the best trailers I've seen in a couple years, I think.
Wow.
I was hooked the fuck in on this. I was excited anyway. I think Olivia Wilde pretty much proved her worth with Booksmart. Like, why would you not want to see another thing that she did? This looks fucking awesome. I will be largely disappointed if this isn't a great movie. And I think it's going to be. I think there's just too many good people in this to not be at least really good.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. And I think what intrigued me most is I didn't know a ton about this movie going into that trailer. All I'd seen was the still images of all of them in their 50s outfits, Florence Pugh and Harry Styles and all them. And I thought based on those pictures and what sort of Booksmart did as far as the dramatic part, not the comedic part, that this was almost going to be a Revolutionary Road adjacent type movie where it's going to be a familial drama. And after watching this trailer, I was I have no idea what the hell is going on in this, but it's some sort of sci-fi cult fucking suspense thriller. I got no idea, but I can tell you for sure that I, like Jeff, was immediately hooked in on this, and it vaulted it right up on my most anticipated movies rankings. I would say it's right near the top now.
Yeah, I'll keep it short because I've been talking way too much. But didn't this trailer kind of feel like it was a Jordan Peele movie in just the way that it was cut? I'm not saying the movie itself is going to be like that, but just the trailer reminded me.
Yeah, the kind of weird turn at one point for sure.
Yeah, the way the trailer was cut together, it kind of felt like Get Out or Nope or Us. So I'm with you completely. There's a ton of really talented people attached to this. And really, I mean, if you read the tea leaves here, this is what a late December release, right? Typically, you're not going to put a crap movie in that time, in that slot, unless you believe that it's going to be something that's going to be potentially an Oscar-nominated drama. So I'm with you. I don't think I'm to a point where I think it's one of the best trailers I've seen, but it's a very impressive trailer with a lot of really talented people attached to it.
Two things for me. One, I would 100% have fallen for this little scam of This Perfect Neighborhood. I would have moved my family out there. We probably would have gotten murdered or whatever the fuck's going on. And two, it just made me feel really, really ugly looking at all those beautiful people. And there was a lot of shit going down in that trailer. I was watching it on the train too, so I was like, well, watch out. We had a lot of going down in that trailer. There was a lot of deep stuff in there. So
yeah, I like the setting a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a cool. You know what it is? Reminds you. You know what made me do? I wanted to play Nuketown in Call of Duty. I mean, obviously it's kind of what it's modeled after, like that utopian type thing, like nuclear test facility type site stuff. So yeah, pretty fucking cool. I'm very excited for that. Excited to see what Olivia Wilde has in store there. And lastly, trailer wise, first look at the Weird Al movie starring Daniel Radcliffe. I got to be honest, didn't know this was a Roku movie. Does that mean it's just coming out on Roku?
Does Roku have hits?
What if it was a Weird Al movie, but it was just the making of one song, the Phantom Menace song? What is that? Anakin guy?
I think it was just called The Saga Begins, wasn't it?
The Saga Begins, right? Yeah. American Pie. The Saga Begins. Yes. Yeah. This looks fine. I don't know. Is this not a real movie? Is it just a streaming movie? I don't know. I need answers on this movie. It's very bizarre.
I'm with you completely, Jeff. This trailer frustrated me because I don't know what movie this is. Like, I got you remember? I was thinking about this. Do you guys remember when Justin Long played Steve Jobs in that like Funny or Die movie that came out like right after he passed away?
Yes.
So I don't know if it's that or if it's trying to be like a actual biographical piece about Weird Al. It doesn't look bad. I'm just kind of frustrated because I can't get a gauge on what kind of movie it's going to be. But it's such a short trailer that it's hard for me to like, really give any, definitive takes on it.
Clem, thoughts?
I'm happy.
How many Weird Al CDs do you own?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever bought a Weird Al CD. I might have bought a single back in the day, which dates me as an old that I even had singles back then. But
you're just stacking Weird Al singles.
I might have had a Weird Al 1. That's about it. I'm just happy for Weird Al that he has like a guy like Daniel Radcliffe playing him. Like that's a W. It's going to get people interested in it. Again, seeing it was on Roku, I was like, does Roku have any hits? I don't really know. I don't follow that. Yeah. So.
I think this is only like this is one of the very first original movies, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So
after they made their I think they spent $100 million buying out Quibi's library, which I'm sure was a brilliant move in some sense to at least one person at that.
On our show, on this reality show we just filmed, I worked with somebody who developed the Quibi show for like 2 years and it never got made. That's got to be just disheartening. Woof. Developing a show for a super niche short form platform and it just doesn't work. It might have gotten picked up though when the Roku thing happened. Didn't people like the Anna Kendrick show that came from Quibi where she like dated like a mannequin?
Yeah, that was the name of it. It wasn't terrible at all. It was like pretty.
Remember the one we watched with the girl with the golden arm? Wasn't it Rachel Brosnahan?
Rachel Brosnahan. We watched that one. There was the Deadliest Game one with Liam Hemsworth too, which was pretty bad.
Right.
There was the Chance the Rapper Punk'd reboot, and my personal favorite, Chrissy Knows Best or whatever,
where she played a judge or whatever.
Yeah, Chrissy Teigen and her mom as judge and jury, like Joe Brown or thing or whatever that type of show. Judge Judy, yeah. But yeah, I think that this trailer or teaser, more than anything else, I think it got me a little bit more into it because I think something that should excite everyone is that Weird Al is like an executive producer on this. He co-wrote it. He's like very into this movie. He's been promoting it like crazy. If you look at his Instagram, like posting behind the scenes set stuff like that. He had a bunch of very funny lines about it where he's like, yeah, I know. Well, I want one thing there for everyone to remember me by is the fact that I was a super consistent filmmaker making one movie every 33 years because he made UHF in like the late 80s or whatever.
That's right.
And he also said like, and I'm also very happy for Daniel Radcliffe because I'm sure this is the movie that everyone's going to know him for the rest of his life, which I think is also a very funny line by Weird Al. So I think Weird Al is a fascinating dude that I don't know enough about. And I think that it's weird. Like he's multi-Grammy winning artist, like, and he's doing parody songs. It's crazy. And like, that's what makes me more interested. I want to see how all this came together. And I think Daniel Radcliffe is the perfectly weird type of dude to play him, even though he doesn't really look like him much at all.
Yeah. They kind of just like tossed a mustache on him.
Yeah. And a wig, a bad wig.
Yeah. That's it. All right. I think that's, the Blockbuster show.
Yes.
First look at the Blockbuster show, which this will shock you. It's them in a Blockbuster. That's it.
I'd love to have Randall Park as my Blockbuster like clerk. He just seems like a good guy that would be like, oh, you're getting blah 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 tonight. Like that was my
Blockbuster clerk in Cedar Park, Texas. Though my original Blockbuster clerk would have been in Plainville, Connecticut, but my last Blockbuster clerk, she was great. She watched every movie in that store. And my buddies and I, we would rent random movies that we hadn't seen and comedies. We discovered Hot Rod that way. And we rented Sex Drive once. And we said, is this funny? And she's like, you like seeing tits? And we were like, yeah. She's like, there's a bunch of high school. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, then you'll like this movie. We were like, okay. Which, by the way, that's not like really what you get in Sex Drive. Like, it's not like
that was a little bit of an oversell.
It's like it's not really it, but okay. Sex Drive, very funny, by the way.
Yeah,
I very much enjoy the movie Sex Drive. Yeah, whatever. People were like, "This is kind of fucked up," but like, I don't know. We've known about this Netflix Blockbusters thing for a while, so
yeah. And Randall Park rules. He's great.
Yeah.
He's likable and everything. We talked about this when this was announced. Like, he's super charismatic. So I think this is a good idea for a show. Yeah.
Agreed.